in the hell do people drink that stuff?
Well, they have to be crazy.
You know it.
You mean we're all drinking?
Yeah.
All of us have a drink tonight. How about that?
All right, here we
Hey,
go.
hey.
Get your beer.
Hey,
You gonna record
Father's
it?
my
Walter, are you gonna be able to be in
gonna
it?
toast.
Get in the picture. What are we gonna toast?
Well, here's to
Happy.
reunion.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, happy
And we're
Memorial
all
Day.
together.
Happy Memorial Day.
Hail
Hope
to
you're all
us.
here, long time.
I'll drink to that.
Right.
That's Sam. That's
There we go.
Whoa, down the hatch.
Yeah.
Happy days here.
Happy, happy, happy.
Happy Memorial Day.
Walter ain't got it steady yet.
Here's the rum dums.
There you go. That's
Here's
the
the
best
old
one.
Milwaukee
How
beer.
the hell are you people drinking
I
that?
got Alabama beer.
Huh?
Way
And
out.
Papa's got a drink.
I got a drink. Get out of here, Warren. I
Oh,
won't
my God.
bother.
Okay.
I mean,
How about that? We can all get in here. Me on one side, Mom on the other, and the girls knew and
And we'll put Walter right here.
coming right here.
Sure.
Cool, Walter.
Right here, Walter.
Somebody in this spot right here.
Here we are.
There we
Oh,
are.
Here's to
Here we are, 1989. What's the date of the day?
Yeah.
May
Today,
27th.
May the 27th, we think.
1999.
Yep.
May all your children have hair on the chest, even the girls.
And big ding dongs.
Make it on their feet and it'll keep them warm in the
This is the
winter.
one. This is the one that had it all hanging out a while ago.
That's Josie. She's 76. Mary's 73.
Two.
Sammy's 70. Josephine is 68. Jack with the light blue shirt is
Susan will be
71.
69, and that's a
Walter will be 32. And I'm 66. You want to add them all together?
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
it's
God,
been
that's 1,000
years old.
It's a lot of years.
Philip, 66.
We're all senior citizens except Walter.
Me.
Yeah, I'm working on
Yeah, I'm no
it.
senior citizen.
Yeah,
I'm halfway there.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
we're-
work.
I
He's
know,
at the halfway
mark.
mark.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you people drink that slop?
It's good.
Are you
Look at my
through?
belt buckle.
Is he through with this?
Stands out like a beacon.
Yeah, it does.
Like
You
a
see
light.
it shining
Is
there.
this
Like
it?
a light in there, huh?
Goomba.
This it?
Get your face in here.
His face is in
You
there.
don't see Sam back there.
Every time
Oh,
I see
you're in
your
the.
face-
You know
I'm gonna
what
get
you
out
are,
in front,
you're not
Sam,
in
so I
the
can see what you
light
look like.
Oh.
That's good.
See what you look like. Sit in that chair, Sam, and see what you look like. You're
Oh,
not
you
that.
sitting there.
No,
You're in that light
I'm
so
gonna
much, I
keep
can't
fat in
see
the
your
chair.
face. Can't see your
still
face.
got
Come in
that
further.
lamp
That light
behind
is
you
coming in
all
back
over
door.
now.
Come on in further.
Don't do that
I
no
can see,
more.
I can see everybody else. I can see
Yeah,
Eric's
I'm
face. Water's zooming in on you now.
Sitting
There
there,
you are.
mother.
Hey,
Hello, Baba Baba
Babu.
Ba, 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 boom. Don't say it.
Ba, 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 ba.
the Godfather.
Babu.
Good
How about that?
booze.
That's a good
There, I'll
picture
get
right
out
there.
of that. Now you get off. Good
That's
booze.
a beautiful picture
Now you
right
got
there.
that. Now you got
Ah,
some work.
Run.
You ain't
Sit
got one
there.
like that.
There you go.
This
Here
is all
we
set.
are.
Hey.
Hey.
Hang in there, Ma.
Hey, I do.
Hang in there, Ma.
She just had a. Where's your beer,
All
Mom?
the hair I thought I did. Look at that. I still rub my hair.
Good.
Beer.
I looked in the mirror. Oh, yeah, I can see the way my hair.
Make sure you're
Thank you,
drinking.
I got a hair left.
You've got a hair lip.
Yeah, hair left. I wanted that too.
That's what Gordy said. You know when you get old, you
Look at
can't
Paul.
hear.
And I can't do nothing.
Oh, you're,
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're a good company right there in that picture. Look at that. Look
You
at that.
bet.
I'll
You
drink to
took
that.
that no hair group in there close, you'd have them all.
Come here,
Yeah, I
Josie.
wanted to
You'd
get
be in
that.
that picture, you'd have them all.
That's the family
Yeah.
reunion.
Look at this. I'm going to fit right there, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you can bring it down in the outhouse.
You got yourself a good one there now, Warren. Fill that on that one.
Yeah.
Come on, someone, is that over there or over here?
Get the wise lens
Isn't
on
that
the web.
Isn't that beautiful? Now that's a nice picture, isn't it? And
Got
move.
us all in
We're
there,
a
huh?
beautiful group.
So we'll
Yeah.
send this to Sister. Would you like this, Sister?
Yes.
I think it'd be good for everybody to get a copy of that one.
Yes, I would. I'd like to
That's a
have it.
good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll look at that and they won't have to take medicine shit.
Me anyhow.
Oh my God.
Hey, Mom, you got it, huh? Mom, this is a real treat to have you all here, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
To make a picture
Memorial
like
Day
this is
weekend.
something I never dreamed of.
The big four.
Me
Memorial
and
Day
Right.
weekend.
The
Well,
four
that's all
remaining
dreaming of.
children of Consetta Pasquale Battaglia.
That's
Yeah.
it, right there.
Right,
That's
that's
the
what it
crowd.
is.
what is it?
4 out of 7.
4
That's
remaining
right.
children.
4 of 'em out of 7.
From Jeff and
The
Pasquale.
I
last
had to
4.
take the Golden Girls down.
You got all 3 of them.
We had a lot of
Sam.
fun.
We did, I tell you.
Even if I fell twice.
She drinks.
She got bruises to
See,
prove it.
bruise to prove it.
Yes.
That's because she drinks.
Tried to fall out the door Yeah, of the that's right. motorhome.
She tried to go right through the
Tried
door.
to kill Josie. She fell on her.
Yeah, that lemonade
I
strong.
turned around.
She
I looked
said, you're
at
getting
her.
old and I want to get rid of you.
Put sugar in there.
She wants to be the oldest.
You know, if the
Funny,
one that
here
Sam
she's
looks as
laying
good
there,
as he does have to
she's-
raise this whole crowd up here.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, well, them 2 over here, not over there too. You
One
got
of them
problems.
on the parade.
Yeah,
And then when we
probably.
got to this place, he didn't know whether to go right or left. She said,
Oh, no.
That's down the middle anytime, what you
Yeah.
say?
I said, oh, we want something cold to drink and cool down, so just pull in. I didn't care where. Captain
Yeah, that's
D's
plenty
was
with
up
me.
Don't
there,
you
I
think that's
That's
enough?
fine. That
I
looks
got
great.
plenty
Oh,
pictures there.
That's
That's a good
fine.
picture.
really
Woman.
good.
Appreciate that one. Now,
Thank
that's,
you,
that's
sir.
worth bringing the
Bye-bye.
camera down for.
How much we
Thank
get
Thank
paid for
you.
this?
Bye-bye.
Free beer.
Free beer.
That's really
You're
good.
drinking
It
it.
is good.
You're drinking it.
When you gonna turn it off?
That's a beautiful picture.
Isn't it though? I have to say that
When you gonna
myself.
turn it off?
I don't know. Got it on. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's still a beautiful picture.
We're all leaving you.
We're all leaving,
right.
so you might as well.
See it?
Yeah, I see.
Mine was in black all the time and all,
And I'm not
family
having
was all in black.
And he had,
And anyhow,
I don't care.
Pop said to Mom, if anything happens to me, but you couldn't stand
6
black.
months ago.
Every time anybody came in the house, you
Jack,
would
can't
cry
you wait for
like
dinner?
crazy.
How
No.
old are
A
you?
donut?
Your
You were
appetite.
small.
When have you ever eaten donuts?
Because I was 10 years old and I remember it.
And who had died?
Well, I figured I have a
Our grandparents in the old country.
Oh, okay.
And then,
And
a
anyhow,
lot of
he
it
was
up in
small.
Pennsylvania was
And every
so
time
high.
anybody come in black, he would
Well,
cry.
yeah,
And you would cry. You would cry your head off.
Oh, Sam hates that color.
And Pop said to Mom, if anything happens to me first, I don't want you to wear black.
Yeah, Sam told me to wear white if I had to.
Any colors,
Yeah,
all right.
now
anymore.
they don't
Yeah,
go in for
Pop
that.
says, I don't want you to wear black if anything happens to me first. But no, you and him couldn't stand to see anybody dressed in
I
black.
don't, of course, I
He
don't
would
remember
cry
that.
every time anybody come, and he would cry too every time
Yes?
anybody come in.
Is
I
that
used to
it?
always have to take you 2 of you outside.
Oh, be darned.
I did.
Walter, turn the
I'm
string
not
beans
kidding you.
down
Now mine, those.
maybe 1 or 2 notches. I think
And
they're
I think
boiling.
that's why he don't like anybody in the life.
It's possible.
Are they boiling? Lift the lid and see if they're
It's a
boiling.
good reason, you know, because
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
And they,
Heard.
you know, and
Someone
when they
probably
wore
do it.
black, you know,
Last
they
week,
wore all
Stacy
Put 'em on
had
simmer
white.
black
or number
things around
2.
their
You said they had
faces,
black
Number
hair,
2.
black
lace.
veils and
Yeah.
all, you know.
I see Josie. I don't know.
It looks so morbid, you know, in black like that. And I think that's why he never liked black.
Impossible.
And you,
Because he
I
told
don't know,
my
you look
sister-in-law.
like
I
she
used to like
We were
to
eating.
wear a black
I
dress.
thought
you
always
make-
thought black and white was so pretty. For
I love
summertime,
black.
you know, wear the white beads, white shoes and all that. But
I
not a solid
always
black.
liked the black in my dress.
remember making something.
I had several one I really enjoyed.
Fried cornbread.
I know, I
I said what it was.
This is
When
the
he
place to
got
get
older,
fried
he
cornbread.
said he
There's
didn't
something
like
about the
black.
cornmeal
And that's the
around
only thing
here.
that I can
It's just-
relate to.
That
Is
makes it
why,
taste
you
better.
know,
It works. I don't know why. We buy it in Atlanta. and do
Because
the
my
same thing.
sister-in-law that's in the nursing
I
home.
know what it was. I know you
Oh,
were in
is she
here
nursing?
Yeah, oh, she's got a
last
lot
time we were here.
It might not be it. It might
She
have been
doesn't know
something else.
anybody anymore.
It might have been something
But she
like
looks
a
good.
Mexican with cheese.
Her son gave me a picture
I think
for
it was something
on
weird
our
like that.
anniversary. He says, Aunt Joe, would you like
I
this?
just turned
And I
that
said,
down.
yes, I would. And
Well, Joe just put a little bit in it because the beans were still frozen.
well, we can put more.
Does it need more water?
I don't know. Let me look at it.
We're not gonna burn them. Why don't you save that?
Why is that?
No.
You're not recording that for posterity, are you?
Just show.
You did too. We talked for a long while.
What you doing?
I don't know.
Laughing at something or what?
They watching Walter.
Is today May 28th?
Yes, it is.
Cause it's
Sorry,
good
over
day.
there.
Is it 2:48?
After that.
It's 3:49.
See, it's got a date and time stamp in it.
What you got? Date and time stamp.
I ate that banana and it was rotten all the way through in that one part.
Yeah.
So I ate the other half.
Sorry.
No,
$2 for the whole pot. That's what I thought.
And I have to fill that
Everybody likes bananas, that'll fill up.
small, you know, from went out.
Sit on it, D.
Someone had bought it.
Sit on it.
Yeah.
Oh, 49.
can't find it.
Kiss her.
Not for 10 cents, 15, 20.
I thought the other day there for that problem, I started to get it this time. I think we got it at home, but I don't know if we didn't have it. So we'll have it today.
No, that white,
Yeah,
no,
I've
with
seen
white,
them.
about that big around.
I've seen them with ones on the news too.
He'd carry it.
Have they salt with the white, did it?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Water is cheaper than what he's getting.
I think so.
They had some in that tray for $1.50 a pound, I think it
Her
was.
heart, off the back.
So her brain gets no
But it wasn't no
oxygen.
good, but it didn't have white salt in it. It tastes right.
Yeah, boy, it's all about that big around.
My 90-year-old mother.
Let me see. There she is. Ain't she cute?
It doesn't come equipped with salt and pepper, so I have to go find some salt in the car.
Goes out of here into their cars. And he had that little still, the gallon still, copper that he had made, remember? It was sitting up on top of that china cabinet in there.
Don't tell me.
And he had that on the table. I said, hey man, that's an antique ornament. He took it anyway.
We didn't get it back either.
So they said be at the sheriff's office on Monday morning or whatever hour, so we were there.
They didn't arrest.
Well, while they were here, they said to Walter, take us through the cellar. So he took all of them down through the cellar. They went in the bar.
Cared about this when he gets home, he can't remember all this shit. And I don't blame him. I
And
couldn't
she's not
either.
coming here tonight?
We hope, we think.
She's supposed to be here any time. I thought she'd be leaving Destin.
If she do, she do. If she don't, she don't.
But he
She's
did.
coming home. There's a party at her house around 7, so I know she's going to be home for that. She hasn't seen her grandmother yet either.
Oh, okay.
Granny's still in the hospital.
Granny's still in the hospital. I know she wants to see
Yeah,
her.
she'll do that tonight or tomorrow morning for sure.
They gotta go to work tomorrow morning, don't
Who?
Who?
Oh, they're on Memorial Day.
they?
Holidays,
They
man.
give them off.
Sure.
Some people are lucky they get off.
That's why they came down. That's why they're sitting around.
I should've got a hold of it and painted that thing black in there where he puts his eye in.
Come on, that's a big old.
Rub some black eyebrow
Black eye
pencil
season.
on it.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell some more stories now.
I don't know anymore.
Oh, well, tell those again.
Now talk about the 21 kids and behind the stall work.
He only did that as
See,
a
her
hobby,
mother-in-law was our
See,
aunt.
I ain't gonna say nothing good while the camera's on.
Josie's mother-in-law was our father's sister. So her
Say
mother-in-law
what?
was also her aunt.
That's
Oh
right.
my God.
And her husband was also her cousin.
Say that again now.
Josie's mother-in-law
Josie's
was her aunt.
mother-in-law.
Because
Yeah.
she was our father's sister.
She was your father's
So I'm
sister.
my own grandpa.
And her husband was her cousin and her
Some-
husband.
Something ain't right there.
I
He
know
was
it.
my cousin and brother-in-law.
Something ain't right.
Yes, it is. That's the way it
That's the way it
was.
worked.
She married her first cousin.
She married her first cousin. The
Oh,
way it works, all works out.
so people wound up being their own relatives.
Double relative.
Well, that's the way they used to take and do. And, well, I had an opportunity to marry somebody else, but I didn't like him.
There you go.
I
There
did.
you go.
What do you do for a living?
Work in the winter? Did he work in the
Oh
winter?
yeah, Joe
He was a
Marino.
farmer.
Joe Marino.
Wasn't that his name? No, that was my boyfriend. Yours was
Dominic.
Dominic Marino.
Here's some
Dominic?
shit today.
Was that Italian?
Dominic Marino, very much Italian.
Did you speak English when you were talking about all this, or you just speak Italian?
She
Right.
could do both.
I
You
could
do both.
She still can do both.
Still do both. So you could talk Italian to the Italians if you wanted to, and you could talk English to the white-haired boys from Ireland if you wanted to, or wherever
The
they call them.
white-haired boys from Ireland.
Whatever they call them. The Germans are the ones that got the white hair, though. They're all blondes in Germany.
A lot of
The leprechauns.
Yeah, the
No, a lot of
leprechauns,
the
they're all
Germans are
blondes or something. They're all blondes or something.
Well, aren't there any stories about Uncle Sam Battaglia,
Uncle
Pop's
Sam.
older brother? Was he so innocent?
Are you
Oh, he
kidding?
wasn't that innocent.
Well, how many did they come over?
Well, my father had two brothers.
Sound like
and
they had their
one
own
sister.
boat.
Is that right, Daisy?
I'm trying to tell you.
How many of them came over? Yeah.
But they didn't know. I don't think they all came
Trying to
over at
find
the
out.
same
I don't know. They didn't
time.
come over. Never heard.
Uncle Sam came over first.
He was the oldest.
He was the oldest. He came over first. Then he sent for Pop. But my mother-in-law came over first. Her husband, you know,
They were married in
they were married in the old country.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who's that now?
My mother-in-law and father-in-law were married in the old
Oh,
country.
your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
Her
my
aunt.
father's
That was
sister.
her aunt and her mother-in-law.
They were married in the old country. So anyhow, he came over here, and they had two children. They had Leo and Minnie when he came over here. And then after he took and got a job, and he got himself straightened, then he sent for her and the two
Low
kids.
light.
No light?
But Uncle
Yeah.
Sam sent for Pop,
Says low light.
and then after he saved up enough money,
Low
he
light
sent for
there.
Uncle Harry. So
Where the hell they get all this money saving up for?
they went to work. Well, they knew
They
that
ain't got no money. I mean, what
Well,
did
in
they
those
make?
days,
They
you-
couldn't make
they
nothing.
didn't make a whole lot, but they didn't spend a whole lot. As long as they had enough to eat a piece of bread,
They come over to the land of opportunity.
What do they
That's
call
right.
$50 to bring a guy over or something?
I don't know what it
Oh, I
cost them
doubt
to
them
come over
charging
in those
that much.
days.
Come on.
Well, it came
That
over
must have
in
been a
the-
small amount of money because money times were hard.
But they do it just like the Mexicans do it today now, right? The Mexicans come
Probably.
over, they make no,
And then they
minimum
send
wage,
for
Yeah,
different
they don't
ones.
make nothing.
but
And
they
send
know
for
that their
somebody
family
else.
is more important than what they're doing now.
That's
So
right.
they live as meager
want
as they
nothing.
can and
That's
send
right.
all the money
That's what
home.
they do.
The idea is to get the whole family here. Forget about living for now.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Get the family here, yeah.
That's what they did.
That's what the Mexicans all doing, man. They work for $1 an hour, they don't care. As soon as they got enough, send it home.
Yeah,
Golly.
that's the way.
Up until a couple of years ago, we had some cousins over there, because Ian Cashew's, let's see, well, Ian Cashew was a cousin. And her,
Sense. He said, I stay right here.
I'ma stay at home.
So if you knew his name, it's possible that you would probably remember him. It's not that long
oh,
ago.
I'm sure they would remember the Valenches, but
Valencias. Now, how do they get involved? I thought you were.
well, Battaglias, I'm sure that, well, there's so many Battaglias, and even at home, there's a lot of Battaglia like this here. Captain Battaglia in the police department. Somehow or other, I'm sure we're related to him because he looks so much like them. Like him and Tommy. Right?
Yes, he does.
Well, you don't know. You don't know what the hell happened.
And then
Somebody
there's a
said
Dr.
he's about a
Battaglia.
third cousin. That's what we heard.
So,
So I don't know.
so
Way
he
down the
probably
road.
is.
How many people total came over on the boat, though,
Oh, I don't know.
from our family? The three sisters
You
come
mean
over
at one
together?
time?
My grandmother and my mother and her two sisters, that's four,
Those four came over together.
that they came over together, yeah.
But there were already two over here. Two men was already here.
Oh,
Well,
that's on
that was
Pop's
on-
side
that
of the
was on my
family.
father's,
Our grandfather, Mom's father, was dead when he come
yeah,
over.
he was only 33 when he passed away, and that's when,
33.
that's why my grandmother
Jeez.
decided to come to the United States.
I'm 32.
Oh, God. He might have got killed or something.
What happened to him at 33 years old?
No telling.
I don't know, do you remember how he died? I don't think Mom ever told us, did she?
No telling.
I
Really?
don't know that she knew.
She probably didn't know either.
She
I
may or
doubt
may
she
not
knew.
have.
Well, there's never nobody that you don't ever remember your mother, your father, or anybody like that writing a letter back to home in the Tupelo, where it was. Nobody ever wrote a letter back. They sent money back and forth. Nobody ever wrote a letter that you know of.
Well, they didn't know how to read and write. They'd get somebody else to write for them.
God,
That's right.
Y'all tell some good stories
more
now.
complicated than I ever dreamed it
My
could be.
mother taught
Tell us more of them
herself
good
to
jokes.
read
We
and
want
write.
some of that good
Huh?
stuff. Let's get back to this. Who's behind the stall and
Yeah, forget all this. We
who
can't
does
read and
what
write
down the
stuff.
street.
You want
Well, I
Uncle
know,
Andy
but
to borrow
I can't
Einstein's
understand why Mom don't know nothing about her background.
Because no one knows, maybe.
Because nobody knew.
But here's her sister's.
She can read and write Italian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cousin Mary.
She-
But
to
she's
wait.
older than all of y'all, so she knows things that y'all don't know.
Possibly. I
And
don't
she
know.
may have had something written down somewhere about where
Probably
she come
has.
from.
Joe. All that stuff she's got
Because
down
her
there.
mother was our mother's sister.
I know, but she might have wrote something down that we don't know nothing about.
But where is she?
She's
Savannah
down
Park,
Savannah
Maryland.
Park. She lives down
On the
Savannah
Magathie River
But
in
she's
Maryland.
80 or something years
80.
old, isn't
She'll
she?
be 83 in July.
Oh, we don't.
You know, she's a lot older than you are. What are you, 75?
I'll be 76 the 1st of July.
76. So she's 8 years older than you, so she remembers things. But
Well, I
my
think
God,
she
but
knew
she
a
didn't
lot
come
more,
over, did she?
too.
Oh, yeah.
No, she was born here.
She didn't come
Cousin
over.
Mary, she was born here. She was born in the United States.
Good
Well,
God.
because her mother, he came from the Battaglias.
Had one from Enterprise too.
Yeah, I had one from Enterprise too.
The
But
guy from Enterprise.
the guy from Enterprise was I only paid him 80%, I think.
Well, I told him I would pay him like, I think it was $350 or $375 on 10 carat.
He didn't even ask me. He didn't even ask what the price was. You know, I just went ahead and figured it at 80%. Well, that's what it's always been with him.
Yeah.
But if he'd had more, I'd have paid more. But I'm not gonna pay more on small batches when I don't have enough. Don't know when I'll have enough to ship.
Yeah.
Because if it goes down before I ship, and I've got a big load of it in, then I'm hurting, right?
You're right.
So now I'm gonna ship gold Monday or Tuesday.
Well, I just told him to go back to you.
When are you gonna get
I
off
didn't
your
want to
trip?
deal with it.
When are you getting off your trip?
I'll be back sometime tomorrow night.
Scooty.
I'll be back working on Tuesday.
So you gonna have some gold, you think?
Yeah, I'll have some.
Okay, then I'll hold off my ordering, my selling until Tuesday.
All right.
Okay,
See y'all later.
see you then.
Bye.
Business. I think everybody that went to the school was proud of that. Every year. Some of the former mayors, we couldn't even get the visitors. But we hope that's changing. And we are happy that Mayor Harden, former Mayor Harden is here with us to give us a game. Well,
I always heard you had to be beat before you wasn't mayor, so I never got beaten, you know, so
you did.
I guess I could be called a mayor. I say that jokingly, because I didn't run, but I could have got beat. But it's always welcome, and I don't think the Mayor McLean has passed away, and Mayor Coker, I don't think they would get mad at me for welcoming you, and I appreciate the invitation to come back. It was never.
He said, yes, it is turning gray, and when it started to turning gray, I consulted my doctor about it. And my doctor told me that normally when we men grew older, our roots of our hair grew deeper. And if it struck gray matter, it turned gray. If it struck nothing, it fell out. So I don't know what my hair is still about like it was when I was born. But mighty fine that Brother Freddie can still come and be with us. He's been a staunch supporter of the Old Baptist Collegiate Institute and its survivors. Now we have one of our younger men in public office in Dale County, and it is most fortunate that we secured him to come and give us a welcome to Dale County. This young man happened to be in the U.S. Navy, and he has a wonderful record in the Navy and as a public official in Dale County. He was out in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese bombed that, and he heard a lot of noise and is lucky to be alive. He also served many years as tax assessor for Dale County. And last year he was elected to the office of probate judge and chairman of the Dale County Commission. We got it, those two offices combined again, and he is one of Dale County's most outstanding young men and young public officials. And I am happy and well pleased to present to you the Honorable Kurt Head.
Produced here is still a part of Dale County. It will live as a part of Dale County from here on out. And we're proud of it. I wish to welcome all of you here. I didn't come to talk about age, but now then the stage has been set, I may as well mention a few words here. We talk about age and duty and when does duty cease to be duty. Well, as a child, I dreamed and I slept and dreamed that life was beauty. I woke and found that life was beauty. And I don't think duty ever ends. We go right on and on and on having our duties, and we should never sit down and retire. I think it was Robert Frost that phrased it so well. He says that the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Welcome to BCI.
He goes Thomas from Montgomery.
I live at Battaglias.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Nancy Hicks, and I'm Ruby Battaglias.
Thank you. Okay.
Elizabeth Hickman from Ocala, Florida.
Okay.
Hickey Hickman. This is our daughter. She and her husband is in BBI.
Jeanette Dickinson.
Okay. You know, I don't see very well.
Katrine Fair.
Who?
Katrine Fair.
Oh, Katrine, bless your heart. Former secretary. Glad you're here. I haven't heard from her.
Finally made it.
Glad to see you. One of our new young girls, you know. Okay.
Talking to her, she found out that she was married to a boy that attended school here at BCI, and his name was Robert Daniel Rice. And said they got married, and later on, after his death, she married another Baptist preacher, and said, in fact, she liked Baptist preachers so well, she had married 4 of them. She says, I've had a wonderful life, and I think that BCI had something to do with it. Her name is Jewel Whitehead Moore Andrews, and she said in a letter, you can tell I've been married twice myself. We had a note from Blondell Purvis Garrett. Her father attended school here, Edward Chesler Purvis, but she didn't say what year. A note from Paul and Pauline Minton. They were here back in the 20s. She said, Paul and I are 81 years young. We were twins, live in Birmingham, and she said that they'd have to get somebody to drive them down if they couldn't make a trip this far, and they wasn't going to make it. They were here 2 or 3 years ago. This letter came from Dr. Brady Justice. His wife did the writing, and she says, for him, it will be impossible for me to be here, but I will be with you in spirit. My health is good for my age. I'll be 90 in February. We live next door to our daughter and her family, and we enjoy seeing them every day. And he says, I find great comfort in the truth of Lamentations 3:22. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassion fails not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Give my regards to all. Brady R. Justice. This is from Gladys Fleming Hurt, Mrs. S.H. Hurt. And she says her father attended school here in 1904 and her mother in 1908. And she says, I'm now 80 and I don't think I can make it, but she says, I'm still active as the director of our senior adults in the Baptist church here at Marion, Alabama. I'm taking them to the assembly at Shockoe Springs, I guess that's the way you say it, on October the 16th. I'll be their house mother. One from Jean and Mary Jo Patterson from Fairhope, Alabama. And they send their regrets and say their health is not so good. A note from Ethel Quigley McGowan Morris. She was Jane McGowan Morris, and her mother attended school here. She was memorialized 2 or 3 years ago. A note from one of the students who was attending here when I was in school, Hilda Marchman Blackwell, and she now lives with her daughter in Texas. Her daughter is a teacher at Baylor University. She sends her regards to all. Mary Gentry reports that my 94-year-old sister, Annie Lee Griffin, attended school at Newton and was in the class of 1960. She's now in a nursing home over in West Alabama. And a note from Leila Fulford Jones, just a note to express to you my regrets relative to the attendance. I'm deeply grateful for having attended the BCI, and I find that my attendance there has changed my whole life. And then she says, I enjoy the years I spent as Secretary-Treasurer when Luther Woodward was President of the association. Mr. Kelly had a call from Jesse Godwin, who was here in the early 20s. He now lives in Palestine, Illinois. He was with us 2 or 3 years ago, but he says this year he can't make it. And a call from P.W. Lett Jr., the son of P.W. Lett, that was head of the school here for some years. Dr. Philip W. Lett is in Birmingham, Michigan, and I don't know the name of the college that he is connected with. You remember, Jim, the school in Birmingham? I don't recall that. But anyhow, he's up in Michigan and doing well, and sends his regards to all. A letter from John F. Loftus of the Alabama Baptist Historical Commission, saying that if you ever want to get rid of any of your old BCI records, the Alabama Baptist Historical Commission would be glad to take them over and house them at Samford University, where the Baptist collection is stored. The last here is from Eloise Frederick of Kerrville, Texas. She says her aunt Myra Lois Crockett attended school here. She's now in extended care nursing home in Dothan and will be unable to be with you. But she sent along a little poem. She says, you may get a chuckle out of reading this. As soon as I get up, willpower helps me get out of bed. Then I go see John. Then Charlie Horse comes along, and that's when I give him a lot of attention. Then when he leaves, Arthur Ryder shows up and stays the rest of the day. After such a busy day, I'm really tired and glad to go to bed with Ben Gay.
Thank you, Bill. Bill and I thought that you would like to hear from all of these former students who have had the things to say that they did and the reason they're not able to be here. We wish that, and many of them, Dr. Justice, you know, was here with us every year while he was a pastor of the First Baptist Church, or the Enterprise Baptist Church over in Enterprise. The next item on our program is remarks by the first Vice President. Would someone wheel Brother Marcus Rosser up here, please? Bring him right here and turn him around like that. Thank you. Thank you. We now have before us the man who is responsible primarily for our association. According to my recollection of the things that's been told to me, J. Marcus Rosser organized the Alumni Association of the Baptist Collegiate Institute and Newton College in 1935. That was 54 years ago. And he has been faithful and used to. We had the meetings over here in the wooded area just beyond the school building. And I think that the crowds we had was 200 or 300 at least, and maybe more. And then we had a picture made of all of us one time. We had about right close to 100 in front of the church, the old building. But Marcus has accomplished a great deal, and he's been physically handicapped in late years and unable to walk. But he's still got a good mind, and he's still on the side with the Alumni Association. He's been a great supporter of me and of Bill in our carrying on, trying to carry on the affairs of our organization. And you remember last year, you authorized that this association obtain a plaque honoring Brother Rosser for the services he had rendered to our association and the old school. It took us a year, Brother Rosser, to get it, but we got it. And Brother Bill, will you present that, give that to me, and then read what's on that?
I'll read it and then you can present it.
Okay.
Presented to James Marcus Rosser, an appreciation for many years of outstanding and dedicated service to the Alumni Association of the Baptist Collegiate Institute in Newton College. James H. Kelly, President, October 15, 1989. So it's your honor.
Brother Rosser, I'll let you take a scan at that. That's not as pretty as you are, but it's a very beautiful plaque. And we are giving you that with our regards and our sincere appreciation for all that you have done. Let me show this to the crowd. I won't let you at the time, but I want you to see what it is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Can y'all see it fairly good back there? Was a time for the first vice president to make remarks. Do you have any remarks?
No, I don't.
Huh?
No, I don't have anything.
He doesn't have any remarks. Well, we appreciate all you've done, what you're still doing, and thank you for being vice president of our association and for the 54 years of hard work you've done to preserve the memories of this old school, one that we cherish. Thank you for being here today, too, son boy.
Just being here is remarkable enough.
He's right.
Amen.
That has a lot to say when he's here, doesn't it?
Sure does.
See if I can find out what's next.
I want to say that being associated for over so many years, which has been a long time, with the Baptist Collegiate Institute, with all the wonderful friends, socials, building, telling everybody. So it's been, I didn't know if I didn't come this time or not, but my brother said he was getting down here, he had to bring me on the ambulance, so he didn't have, I do have to use the walker. But it's just wonderful to be here, and it's good to see everybody, and I just feel so honored for all these years, and so glad to be a part of it, of this organization. I hope it can continue. Thanks for everything.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for what is the next time? I made some notes here, and the older it gets, the less I can see it. But anyway, it's a report of the Secretary, Alfred W. Bill Tate.
Thank you. In the interest of moving the proceedings along, with your permission, there's no objection, I'll just read some of the reported minutes from the last meeting without going into all of them. Our devotional was brought by the Reverend Steve Allen, a ministerial student at the Baptist Bible Institute. I believe that's now called Florida Baptist Theological College down in Graceville. We had general introductions as we did today, and people were introduced. The reading of the Treasurer's Report, which was as follows. In 1987, we started with a carryover of 110.04 to 86. We had donations of 181, making 291 available for expenses. We had expenses of 219.33, leaving a balance of 71.71 to start homecoming at 88. The savings account had a balance last year of 23.3509. Under the heading of business, general unfinished, we remarked about the door sometime being unlocked here to the BCI room, but the librarian and others said they would take care of seeing that it was taken care of. Memorial service, the following were memorialized. Mrs. Addie Mae Dowling, Mrs. Stella Cooper of Headland, Mrs. Cherry Bell Jones Johnson of Auburn, Mrs. Catherine Pruitt Forrester of Dothan, Mrs. Lydia Tate Pruitt of Kennett, Missouri, Miss Anna Pace Oliver Dickinson of Metairie, Louisiana, Mrs. Louise Arnold Bagwell of Ozark, Mrs. Grace Davis Craig of Tallahassee, Florida, and her sister, Mrs. Ruth Davis Allen of Columbus, Ohio, and Miss Cora Lee Mosley of Ozark, and Mrs. Ida Mae Curry Hoffman of Clay Hatchet. I think this would be highlights of the minutes of the meeting, and then if there are no questions and so forth, I move that they be approved.
But you got another report follows that, the Treasurer's Report,
Yeah.
while you're up there.
I'll make it brief. In 1988, we started with a carryover balance of $71.71, and And the checking account had donations of $188, making a total of $259.71. 1988 expenses came to $210.27, leaving a balance of $49.44 brought forward for the 1989 homecoming. Savings account on 9/30/88 had a balance of $2,457.28, an increase of $122.19 over 87. This was the interest on the account. The savings account's balance on 6/30/89 was $2,550.33. Move the acceptance of the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Bill. That brings us down to, I believe, did you pass my hat around for anybody that was supposed to make any donations to our operating expenses? I've got it, another one out there.
Association of the BCI, and that one of the topics to be discussed is the disposition of your records. As the executive director of the Alabama Baptist Historical Commission, I am writing to offer our services for the protection and preservation of your historical materials. The Alabama Baptist Historical Collection is housed at Samford University as part of the Special Collections Department. I am aware.
I would like to know if you wish any action taken on that, and I would like to have a motion and a second regarding what we do about that. I would recommend we do not do anything about it yet, if we ever have to. It's possible that maybe the future of the town of Newton might be acceptable to looking after the remains of our headquarters office. Do I have a motion with regard to this?
I move that we table it for the next meeting.
Motion is that we table this to the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Motion is second that we table this matter for further consideration if we desire and necessary at our next annual meeting. All in favor of it say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay. Bill, that is that.
Okay, now, Jim, I'm going to deviate from the program just a second because yesterday we had representatives of the Newton Baptist Church contact us, and they said they are celebrating their 150th anniversary, and they wanted to know if somebody here could help them with anything that you remember about the Baptist Church here in Newton that they could use for historical purposes and so forth. I think they're running some of this material in their weekly church book. And I was given these forms to hand out, and it says, what year did you attend BCI? What grade were you in? What was the name of the pastor at the Baptist Church when you were here? Tell anything of interest, anecdotes, remembrances, so forth, that you can remember about the BCI. It can be comical, serious, or historical. Decided they were going to pull a prank on one fella, and they went out there and they picked up the hind end of his Model T, and they had firewood stacked by the church up there. They had a potbelly stove. That was in the days when we had that white church building down there, and they just picked up that back end and put a stick of stove wood under that axle, went over on the other side and picked up that one, put a stick of stove wood on it. When the fella come out of church that night and got in his car, it wouldn't go. And he was puzzled and came back and he was looking, his car cranked up, but it just wouldn't go. And he saw the wheels were just spinning like mad back there on top of those sticks of wood that the boys had put under there. This is not exactly the kind of thing I think they're asking for.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's delightful.
But another time on a Halloween, they dismantled a whole buggy back in the days when we had just a small buggy without a top. And they took the four wheels off and they took the body off and everything and took it up and put it right up on the steeple. Put the wheels back on it and everything. So the next morning, after
has to be.
I have no idea. I don't remember names that well.
Good thing you don't, I imagine.
Who helped you do that?
I wasn't involved, I was just an innocent bystander.
Cleared that up.
The second item here has to do with the Oath Rounds Memorial Building, and the mayor, Coker, and Jim and I had a talk with him a few days ago, and he pointed out some of the things that he had done trying to get financing to put the building back in first-class condition. And he asked us if we would bring this matter to the attention of the alumni, and if it was agreeable that we send out letters to the Alumni Association asking for donations toward the preservation of this historical structure. Now, this building is part of the National Historical Trust, or whatever you call it. I believe we got a plaque out on the front here that indicates it's now in the Historical Commission. Mayor Coker has written to everybody, Bill Dickinson, he was born in 1903, the same year as my sister Jane, who is also deceased. Grew up here in Newton, and when I was living in Washington back in the 30s and 40s, Harry was living up in Delaware, and sometimes he would come down to visit with my sister Jane, and I had seen him there. He was 86 years old and was buried here in the city cemetery. Mr. T. Merlin Borland of Pinker. Merlin was very well known to many people in the county because he served as county commissioner here for good many years, and 16 years from 1959 to 1973 he was Dale County Commission, and I suppose had the district that falls on the south end of the county here. I remember Merlin very well because he was about the age of my older brother Sam, and was here in school in the 20s when I was attending. He was a lifelong resident of Pinker, retired farmer, a member of the Pinker Baptist Church, Masonic Order, and York Rites. Another person from Newton was Mrs. Arizona Jackson Howell. I remember Mrs. Howell very well. In fact, I remember her husband, Cliff Howell, a World War I veteran, and I recall a remark that I heard when I was just a little kid. 6, 8 years old, and Mrs. Howell, his mother, was saying that Clifford's gone to war, and I have remembered that all my life. The remark that she made, Clifford's gone to war, and the Newton folks at that time, they marched from here to Montgomery, some of them, and I remember when we were living right across the road back over in there, seeing some of them walking up and down. We had a gravel road back in those days. And they were marching up and down. I don't know why they marched them instead of using the railroad, but they did. I was reading in the Southern Star just the other day that a whole bunch of them marched from Ozark all the way to Montgomery, I guess to get their legs in shape for the rigors of the service.
Bill, did I say something? Arizona, and I taught school with her. Couple of years.
She taught.
She was the president.
Miss Arizona Howell has been a teacher for more years than anybody that I know of. 49 years teaching in the Dale and Pike County school system. The last two names that I have here, before I get down to closing, I say the last two. This was a couple that lived down at Pinkard, and I believe was an uncle of our distinguished probate judge, Judge at Snell Grove.
His cousin.
Cousin,
Talking about Charlie King.
Mrs. King, Mrs. Flossie Hayes, Hayes King, was a native of Hawker County here in Brockton, and was married to Mr. Charles Watson King, who was a native of the Longstreet community in Dale County. That's up in the northwest section of Dale County. They lived in Pinkert most of their life. Mr. King was the owner of King Furniture Manufacturing Company in Napier Field. Flossie died on Sunday, March the 19th, and Mr. King, that was on a Sunday, and it was scheduled for Wednesday afternoon, but Mr. King died before the funeral, and it was held, and they had a double funeral for the couple on that day. Judge, would you like to?
I preached his funeral, and Dick Hayes, her nephew, preached her funeral.
Anything further you would like to add to what I've said about Mr. and Ms. King? Ms. King attended the Baptist Collegiate Institute here in Newton, but it doesn't say he or she was here. She was active in the Baptist Church in Pinkert and the TEL Sunday School class, and was a homemaker. One more. As I knew that some of you who would be attending had not seen the local county paper and would not know of it, so we included that line on the letter that went out. Mrs. Kelly died March 14, 1989, and was buried in Westview Cemetery in Ozark. She was from a family that were long-time residents and citizens of Dale County. Her parents were Benjamin L. Andrews and Cinderella Godden of Ozark, and she was one who attended schools in the county and graduated from Dale County High School. I can do, or any kindness that I can show any human being, let me show it now and not defer it, or I shall not pass this way again. And it's that letter that we had from Mrs. Moore up at Auburn indicated that one thing that so many students learned here at this school was how to conduct and how to live their life. With that, I'll ask Brother Snell if he'll give us a
Couple of years that you spared these loved ones that's going on to be with thee. For what they meant to some of them that are gathered here this day. And Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless these that are here. Heavenly Father, we just ask you to guide us in the paths of righteousness day by day. Someday we know that we too are going to be with thee, and we just want to thank you for the place that you prepared for each and every one of us. Now bless these that are here. May we ever have a memory of those that's gone on to be with us. And forgive us of our shortcomings, and draw us nigh unto thee, and use us in thy kingdom. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. And board of directors and so forth. So what are your wishes about the Secretary of Treasury?
Nominate him. Bill Tate.
How's that?
Nominate Bill Tate.
That's Katrine Fair. She nominates me.
All right. I didn't hear that. You have to talk loud. I hear you. All right. Bill Tate has been nominated. Is there a second? Did I hear a second?
Over here, yeah.
Yeah. It's moved and seconded that Bill Tate that's Alfred W. Bill Tate.
That's the only one on payroll.
Be elected Secretary of Treasury for the ensuing year. All in favor of that say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And no no's. So Bill, I congratulate you on being retained as Secretary of Treasury. Just keep up the good work. Now, this is on our program is comments by newly elected.
You guys just are all fools today. Brent, Sally. Sally? No. Lost another one. Cricket, you ready to go? You sure? Huh? Cricket is the golf room's official ring catcher. She's going to be catching these 3 rings around her neck. And it's a little bit more difficult than it may sound because the rings are going to be spinning backwards. You ready, Cricket? Here's number one. Uh-oh. That was a bad shot. That's cheating. That's cheating. Hey, pay attention. Here's number 2. Last one, Cricket. Turn around, Sally. Good, Cricket. Did you get a clap from her? Huh? Let's go, Cricket. Just stop. Keep moving around. You know what happens, don't you? Huh? Sally, come over here and take care of this problem. Hey, Sally. Take care of this for me. You need to give it to her good. Give it to her good. Uh-oh. Cricket. Uh-oh. You gonna spank me instead? You are? I didn't do anything, so.
Right.
Cricket.